What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing this OBS. All it has right now is front lowering springs. We're going to take those out, do adjustable Viking coilovers in the front, drop spindles, all new control arms, steering, bushings, all that good stuff. So this is the coilover kit we're going to be installing. This one right here is 1.5 to 3 inches of drop. It is available from 0.5 to 1.5 inches of drop, and then this one obviously 1.5 to 3 gives you more drop. It is a hybrid style coilover conversion. So what that means is on the spring on the bottom is going to sit into your coilover, and on the top is going to sit into the stock factory pocket. All our coilovers we use from Viking are dual adjustable, so you have a compression setting and a rebound setting. They all come with thrust bearings and spanner wrenches. On all coilovers, you have to put anti-seize on the threads, so be generous with that. You don't want them getting destroyed while you're adjusting them. The lower bracket, as you can see, it's going to bolt to the lower part of your control arm, and the top is just a stud style like your factory shock. So you take this apart, make it go through the frame, put the top bushing in there and your nuts, and then tighten it down once you have it on the ground. And that is it. It's a super simple kit, really nice, and it makes a world difference. Okay, so we got the OBS all jacked up in the front. We started taking it apart. As you can see, the shock it had blew up. This thing is aged, so looks to have all the factory stuff, control arms, spindles, all the steering stuff. So we're going to be replacing upper and lower control arms, spindles, all the steering linkages, and we're also going to be doing our front coilover conversion. So we'll show you step by step the process on installing these. These are really easy. It's a hybrid style coilover. So what that means, the spring on top sits in the frame just like the factory spring, but it's a true coilover. The stud protrudes the frame, and you bolt it on top like you would, like the style bushing it uses on a regular shock, but it is a true dual adjustable coilover. So let's get into it. So this OBS has all the original stuff from factory. So like I mentioned, we're going to be doing new upper and lower control arms. Just because they have new ball joints, new bushings, they look a lot nicer. You don't have to deal with any of that stuff, all the beat up stuff. So this is definitely the better route to go with. One thing you have to do is knock these little nuts off of the lower control arm. That's where usually the stock shock bolts to. So what we do is we'll take the angle grinder, clean those up, grind them smooth, and then spray them. That's where our new bracket's going to go for our coilover conversion. And once you're done grinding them, this is what you want to see, nice and smooth. Then what we'll do is we'll tape it up and we'll paint it. And then these are your new coilover brackets. You can see it's going to bolt right on there with provided hardware. Then your coilover is going to bolt through there, and that's it on the lower. The upper side of the coilover is going to bolt up to the factory location. Okay, so when removing the front suspension on an OBS, first thing you want to do is break the caliper free, remove it, put it off to the side. Then what you want to do is break the nuts free on the spindle. We recommend leaving the nuts onto the threads. That way when you do strike the spindle, you don't run into hitting the threads, damaging those. Then you'll be in a bind. Once you do break it free and you can see it separates from the ball joint, go ahead and remove the nut completely. With that being said, you want the jack on the lower control arm. That way you control as it drops. This one has a drop spring, so it's not going to jump out. But if it were to have a stock spring in there, it could pop out and hurt you. So just be careful. Do that. And then this one is pretty easy. The spring's going to come out. I said it had a lowering spring. So now what we're going to do is remove the lower and upper control arm, spindle, break it free from the rotor, and get our new parts ready. Clean up this disaster right here and get ready to install our new parts. We installed our new upper and lower control arms. Now is going to be the installation of the coilover. We're going to start with bolting it on to the lower part of the control arm. As you can see, you want to assemble your coilover first. We usually tighten the 1/2 inch bolt that goes across once it's on the control arm, but it's totally up to you. And then we just tighten everything once it's in place. That way it's easier to mock up. So once the bracket is on, you're gonna slide in your coilover. It's all your coil spring. Get it inside the pocket. And then that stud, you want it to protrude the frame just like the stock shock would. Once you get to the top, supplied bushings. We're gonna go to the top with a washer as well, a nut. Follow the instructions for torque specs on those. But for now, like I said, just loosely fit on there with a nut so we can mock everything up. Now the front suspension is completely together, spindles, control arms, all that. And when you're doing this, just double check, go through all your hardware, make sure everything is torqued down. The coilover itself setup is real simple. Doesn't take long to do it. Once you have everything tightened up, go ahead and you can do these by hand. You want to adjust these all the way up till it stops. You can go a little bit more, but then after that, I recommend putting it on the ground and then getting a reading to see where you're sitting and then adjust from there. When you adjust these with your spanner wrenches, make sure the vehicle is off of its weight. Do not do it with the wheels on the ground. You're going to damage the coilover and the warranty will be voided. So make sure you adjust these properly with the weight of the vehicle off and you put anti-seize on the threads before assembling. Any questions, like I've told you guys before, just call us, DM us. We'll help you out.